Hey, what's up, everybody? Mogian Monster here, and welcome to Why the Fascination, or WTF, as I like to call it. Hope everybody's having a great night. Great to see everybody in chat. Some interesting shows on today. I missed the ending of Carrie's, Carrie's drawing thing with Bert. What the hell's his name? Mark Batson or Larry Batson. So I don't know how it turned out, but then Mark and Larry's show. That was a good show. Couldn't stay for the last half hour, but here we are. What the hell? I just kicked the table. I got somebody lined up waiting backstage is going to come on. Looking forward to talking to him. Professor Orange Juice, what's happening? Robin, hey. He lurks. What's going on, man? Judy Wheeler, hi. What's going on, Paul? Cryptidville. Isa Mars. Hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. Hey, Jenny. Mark, what's up, Livewire? Scroll up. Who else? Mr. Lee 3PO. Hey, Sandra. Dave Stewart, what's going on, man? Who else is here? Iron Dogger. How are you, hon? So, yeah, I hope you guys are happy with my choice. So, Tuesday nights, I am going to have a co-host, Iron Dogger. I am so looking forward to working with her. She's a ray of sunshine, and I think it'll bring a new dimension to the show. And I think it's a good thing. She's fun. So, everybody welcome her. Thanks. Who else is here? Sandy D. How are you? Think I got everybody. I think. Oh, Bobby Ounce. Hey, Bobby. Who's that? So I have someone backstage that I'm going to bring out. He actually was one of my first videos that I ever did. A little over a year ago. Actually, it was the only narration I did. It was pretty cool. But he's here. He can tell you about it. I want to welcome to the show Last of the Wilds. What's up, man? Welcome. So yeah, that's funny because your story was the only one that I ever narrated.
You dig it?
Thanks. You sound a little broken up.
How about now?
Perfect. Yeah, it was just probably a distance thing. Yeah, no, that was thank you, but that was fun. And yeah, that was over a year ago. So yeah, man, I'm so happy that you got in touch and finally decided to come on. I've been kind of bugging you for a while.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first attempt at doing this, and I figured, well, it's only appropriate enough that my first time be on your show. So I'm happy to be here.
Digging the bandana.
Yeah, I realized today I didn't have one, and I was going on your show tonight, so I got to go to Walmart.
Oh man, you didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. That's so cool. So yeah, man. So tell us about yourself. Like, why are you into why the fascination?
Well, my introduction to Bigfoot, a lot of people were introduced to it through the Patterson Gimlin film. That was not me. I didn't know about that until several years later. My introduction was when I was a kid and watching The Legend of Boggy Creek. And I can remember it scared me to death, but it sucked me in. And I can remember watching this with my dad, my grandmother, her sister, and I can remember my aunt going, I want to go down there and look for that thing. And she never did, but that always kind of stuck in the back of my mind. And okay, maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe it would be fun to go look for it. So, I mean, that was, I was maybe 5 or 6 back then. And, I kind of, grew up a little bit, and, it kind of went further and further back in my mind. But one morning, I want to say this was 99, 2000, somewhere around there, because it was around the time I just started high school. So it's early morning, still asleep, and my dad was always up before everybody else, to get everything ready for the day. And he comes rushing into my room, waking me up, and he's just the look on his face. I know something's up, and he says, "Get up! You got to come out here and hear this." So okay, I follow him out on the front porch, and I sit there for a little bit. And I'm not really hearing anything, and he tells me just wait for it. And then finally, I hear it. It's this long wailing scream coming from top of the mountain, and I would hear it again, and it would be further away. I would hear it again, it'd be further away, moving down the mountain. And there are no roads back there. It wasn't like a siren or anything. And it was just this really weird, long-winded shriek, more or less. And I'd never heard anything like that before. I'd never heard anything like that since. The only thing that even came close were the sounds that were reportedly Bigfoot recordings. So I never saw anything. I never found any evidence. I mean, I didn't then, but it was enough to throw those memories of Boggy Creek back into my mind. Well, could it have been something like that? And that kind of became a thing with me and my dad. That was a way that we bonded. Um, it was. It's kind of been, my hobby. You know, over the past few years. Like I had a really bad car wreck a long time ago, and it was a hobby, to help me through that time, you know. And I don't know, it's always been something that's interested me. I've always loved it, and I don't know, I just want to be more involved with it, I guess you'd say. And I'm
You know,
probably
I'm new to it. Basically, the whole like Bigfoot thing. But I am just hooked. you know, I can't explain it. But I really think I'm in it for the long haul. I'm moving. I'm graduating. I've gone to from an interest to a fascination to now I'm doing a damn show to now I'm starting to research or get out there and search. The progression is just this natural progression. It's kind of funny. Um, but it's just amazing how this community is here.
yeah.
They really embrace it. It's weird. It's for such a fringe crowd. They're amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah, they really are. Like all the folks in chat, I mean, they're all just as nice and as sweet as they can be. I love them to death.
So now you had we had talked about you doing is your phone buzzing?
I'm sorry about that. I'm getting a text.
Okay. Um, well, you want to do a documentary. What's it going to be about?
Okay. Well, a lot of people have been seeing these lights in the woods. You've seen them yourself,
Yeah.
and I never really thought about it that much. And then one day I saw them. I had just moved in to this place with a couple of friends of mine, and they've been telling me about different things that have been going on at their house. Supposedly, there are It's an older house, so they do believe it's haunted. And I have had a couple of experiences at that house that leads me to believe, yeah, they're probably right. But they've been telling me that they've seen these floating balls of light, going through the trees. And we were all sitting outside on the front porch one night just shooting the breeze. And I happened to look up at the tree line and I see this bright blue light, maybe about the size of a basketball, really beautiful blue. And it's just slowly floating through the trees. And then right behind it, there's two more. And eventually they settled together in like an upside down triangle shape. And they just sat there hovering for, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. And I asked them, I said, "Is that what you've been talking about?" And they said, "Yeah, that's it." And they faded out, and I haven't seen them since.
Wow.
But it was enough to make me go, okay, maybe there really is something to this. This is cool. Let's check it out. Let's see. Let's find some more people who've seen them and talk to them. See, how things compare.
No, it sounds like a good project.
I figured it'd be fun. I mean, I've always been really interested in movies, filmmaking, things like that. So I've known for a long time that I've wanted to do a documentary style project, and I figured that would be a good jumping off point to kind of test the waters and see how it goes.
Sure. That's awesome, man. Um, yeah. It it's funny because when I was on this expedition, with Carrie and everybody with the 168 project, I found that's all I wanted to do was film. I was everywhere. I had a camera in my hand, and even when I was in camp, I set up a camera and filmed, the tree line for hours. Move it here, move it there, move it there, just the angle. But that's funny. I didn't realize I was into filming that much until I got there and really, I had a good time doing it.
Yeah, and I mean,
I still have all the stuff to go through, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But it's good to have. I'll put something together. I want to do something like with the lights. I still got a trip or two to take. I still have to go back up there at least once or twice to accomplish what I want to accomplish with that whole subject. Because I'm definitely going to follow through with it. I've gotten this far. I've come this far, so. Yeah, so no, that sounds like a really. I know. Are there other lights in the area, or is it just those particular?
those are the only ones I know about in this area. At least that's the only ones that I've seen or heard anybody talking about. But I am in North Carolina, so we do have the Brown Mountain Lights here.
Okay.
And that's like a really big local thing. It's not an every night thing, but certain times during certain weather conditions, like I think, don't quote me on this because I might be wrong. That has happened, but like after rain or something, and the air is kind of charged a little bit, then you'll see these lights floating across the mountain.
Where do you in? Guessing Western North
Yeah,
Carolina. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not too far from Asheville.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I lived in North Carolina for like 4 months, over in Richlands, before I went to Nashville. um, Beautiful, beautiful country. Um, if you guys in chat, you guys have any questions, you want to ask, feel free, but please put them in caps so I can, it catches my attention right away. So what do you think, or when, what do you think? When do you think this will come out? Like, when do you think you'll, really get into this? Because what you guys don't know is I have mentioned it, but Last had asked me to, when he does finish this, he asked me to narrate it, and I was really honored to be asked. So, and I thank you for that. And it is an honor to be. That's so cool. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
Well, you're a cool guy, and you got the voice for it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
And as far as when it's going to come out, I really have no idea. I mean, I do have my regular job, and I'm
Sure,
working
sure.
hours a week doing that. But it's just something that I'm doing in my spare time, and just it'll be finished whenever it's finished.
Right on. Well, that's awesome. You know where to find me. So, do you do any other? Do you get out much? I mean, as far as like, I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. That's so weird. I just totally blanked out. Um, yeah, I'm just zoning out. I apologize.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, I mean, I try to get out as often as I can. I love being outside. I love being in the woods. That for me. That's like my church. I go out there, just close my eyes, just take in everything, and just listen. And that's what brings me. So that I anytime I have the opportunity, I'm going to take it. And just the other day, my brother and I, we went out for a drive. We ended up doing like a 150-mile circle, and just anywhere that looked cool, we would stop, get out, look around, explore. We found a cave that was really nice. Had no idea it was there. Snooped around there for a little bit, and that's just something that I love doing. He loves doing. It's fun. It gets out of the house, and really, anytime I'm out in the woods like that, I'm always looking around just to see if I see anything that catches my out of place, weird.
Yeah, it's cool to find those little hidden treasures, out of the way places that you're just like, holy crap, where the hell does it, I'm just finding this now. Yeah, there was a lot of places up in New Jersey where I was always out and about, in the woods, hunting, fishing, whatever, and camping, and there are those hidden places. You go down a dirt road, and all of a sudden you're at a waterfall. You're like, what the hell is this doing here? It's like, yeah, I love doing that too. Now that I'm down here in Florida, I'm going to be doing it more on the water, kayaking. Lynn wants to go. That's my roommate, or I'm her roommate, or whatever. She wants to go fossil hunting, and
Oh,
she knows places. She has places that she goes, and she has the equipment, and you know, um, the sifters and everything you need to fossil hunt.
yeah,
And so yeah, so Long Island Bigfoot on the last show I saw him on mentioned that he wants a megalodon tooth.
yeah.
So I said, yeah, okay, man. First one I find is yours. So because they do find them here. We were watching a video earlier, and the guy was it was on YouTube, and the guy was he would just throw a shovel load of gravel in this sifter, and he was so knowledgeable. I mean, this tiny little tooth or whatever. He was like, oh, there's a tiger or shark's tooth, and this is a bone from it's a fossilized turtle shell. And it's like, how do you know all this? But it's cool. There's a lot of places to do that down here, so there's just so much to do. I'm really stoked. So of course, once I start doing it, I'm going to be filming everything.
Yeah, we're definitely going to want to see it. If we can find anything wild and great.
Yeah, and there's a lot of history down here, and it's an interesting history with the original like Native Americans, the Calusa Indians, and the mound. They were mound builders, and it's a fascinating place. I've been reading stories about from the 1800s, about the Bigfoot down in the Everglades, and how these people went down there and started farming pineapples, things that hadn't been there before. And these things they'd go through their fields, and like one row of trees would get just devastated, but all the pineapple cores were always in a neat little pile. They'd eat all the pineapples, but they'd keep them neat. It was just these crazy stories from the 1800s. So it's pretty fascinating what has gone down, has gone on down here. And so I'm looking forward to exploring, those historical aspects of it too.
Right.
Yeah. I haven't spent. I did stayed more on the coast in North Carolina. Like I would go out to like Topsail or Topsail, but everybody down there says Topsail. And so I don't know too much about the mountain region like Western North Carolina. But I know I passed through it, but I don't know that much of it. I know it's pretty beautiful though. You've been there all your life?
Yeah, pretty much. Been here the vast majority of it. I went to West Virginia for a little while, ended up coming back here.
Yeah. Well,
After this, I don't know where I'm going to end up. I'm just kind of coasting along, seeing what happens.
it's not a bad way to be. Yeah, I believe in taking little leaps of faith every now and then. Kind of got me here. Just go with your gut, man.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do a lot more lately. And so far, it's been paying off pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. I'm just enjoying them.
Awesome. Excuse me a second. I have to cough, but I have to mute.
You're good. Anybody who is near this area or knows anything about this area, there is a place in Jackson County. I was actually there the other day with my brother when we took that trip. There's a place called Judicala Rock, and it's a Cherokee legend, and a lot of people have tied it to Bigfoot because Judicala is this large hairy giant that lives in the woods. And on this rock, there are all these hundreds of strange markings that nobody's deciphered yet. And it's just a really interesting place. And in the lower right corner, they say it's this giant handprint with 7 fingers. And,
7? Wow.
and the thing about this is, it's actually not far from the area where Dennis Martin went missing, from the missing 411. And that was actually the reason I was up there, because I went camping with some friends. We wanted to see if we could find anything, to see if there were, any signs of Bigfoot prints, anything like that. See if we could see, hear anything. And it's a really, really cool place. Fontana Lake, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. Anybody who is near that area and you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's a really nice spot.
Quick, just wanted to say, hey, what's up to Real Dill? What's going on? Jimbo, thank you very much. You know what I'm talking about. We'll leave it at that. That was cool, dude. Lewis, what's going on? Hey, Linda. I might have said hi. Abs, how are you? I just got to catch up a little bit. Sorry, dude.
You're good. Go for it.
Yeah, North Carolina is pretty cool. Like I've camped out on the Outer Banks. That was an experience. But getting there, we came up from Richlands and kind of cut over and took this road that, holy crap, if I heard banjos, it wouldn't have surprised me. And it was swamp and dark, and I think the whole trip, if we were in there 2 hours, we saw two cars. It was not a place you wanted to break down.
Yeah.
Um, but it was, and yeah, and I wasn't into the whole Sasquatch thing back then. But yeah, that would definitely have been a prime area for them if they were going to be on the coast.
Hmm.
Who else? Western New York Bigfoot Research Organization. What's up, man? Hola, Juanita. How are you, hon? Glad you're here. Robin. Who else? Scotty B. Hold on one second. So have you did you catch my last show with or the last two with Iron Dogger?
I did. I did. Congratulations on her for being the new co-host. She's going to do a great job.
Yeah, I'm pretty thrilled about it. Just curious, what you thought, and that's cool, man.
I'm all for it. She's got some great stories. She's a cool person. I'm
She
happy.
just, I don't know, dude. I can't explain it. I don't know what I didn't think should I had no thoughts about having a co-host,
Hmm.
and did the show the other day, and I even told her, I said, you should be heard. You belong on camera. You have that presence. And we were talking about something earlier in the day, and I said, oh crap, it's Tuesday. I have a show tonight. And she's like, oh, yay. Do you need a sidekick? And as soon as she said that, something clicked. And it was like, no, I don't need a sidekick, but and I didn't say, I knew right then what I was going to ask her. It was the strangest thing. There was no back and forth, do I, don't I? It was like, this is what you're going to do. It was bizarre. So I waited till just before the show, she was coming on, and, asked her, and she was like floored, but I can't tell you, it was just something that I had to do.
Hmm.
That was weird. And I know I'm not going to regret it, and it's going to be awesome. But that's what I mean about those leaps of faith. And this was more of, I don't want to say divine intervention, but something made me do this. Something was like, you have to do this.
Well, I mean, from what I've seen, I mean, it works. I mean, the two of you make a great team. You got the chemistry going back and forth, and it's just
No, I think it'll be great, and to have somebody bounce ideas off of, and talk with, and it's a lot easier than doing it on my own.
right.
Because it it gets a little nerve wracking at times, but I love it. I love doing this. I love being able to hang out and meet people like you. Finally, um, and yeah, if anybody else wants to pop on, I can put the link in chat. Duke, what's happening, man? Good to see you. And that's what I'm going to do actually now. I'm just going to throw the link in chat, and anybody wants to pop on, please do. Do that right here. Yeah, I think it's just great to be able to bring people together and have people meet each other and tell their stories and share their experiences.
Right. And I mean, that's to me, that's kind of the point, because so many people, and I mean, other people have said this on other shows, but there are so many people who, they say, I have this, I have this, I have this, but I'm keeping it for myself. But I think if we really want to find this or find answers for this, then it's going to require us working together and sharing information and helping each other. And that's what you're doing, Bigfoot Odyssey's doing, uh, Mark and Larry, and you're all doing just an amazing job at just bringing people together and just creating this community more than anything else. And it's working wonders. And I honestly think that if this mystery is ever solved, this is going to be it.
How's it going, Joe?
Hey man, what's up, man? What's up, Last?
How you doing?
Good to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. Nice hat.
Good to meet you. Yeah, man. Muggs, man, having a co-host is good, man.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I mean, I'm doing a couple of podcasts on my page and stuff. One is with my wife, and it's called New York Sasquatch Live with Joe and Molly. And then I do one by myself called Squatch Talk. And man, I need a co-host.
Where in New York? Yeah, next or
Western New York, near the Finger Lakes.
okay,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another beautiful state, New York.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been all over New York. From the Thousand Islands, to just all over New York. Beautiful state.
Yeah, I was born and raised here. I left for a long time, but I came back, man. It's actually my wife was the one brought me back here. She's a Southern girl, and we were living in Virginia, and her mom passed away, and she was like, I want to move. How about moving back up to New York where your family's at? And I'm like, okay. So, yeah, but I love it up here, man.
Right on.
It's a good place, man.
So what's your story, man?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if you ever don't recognize me, I told it once on your show. But I shaved my beard off, man.
Oh, damn. I'm like, why does this guy seem familiar?
No, I mean, I got into this when I was like 14 years old, man, back in what, 1978. And
Wow.
And it was just because I found a footprint by a creek, man. And long story short, man, I've been in it ever since, man. And took me 43 years, but I ran into one last year, man. And I'll tell you what, man, once you see one, it's a whole new ball game, man.
Yeah.
How
was that for you though? After that, finally seeing one, what was that?
It was last August, man. It hasn't been quite a year yet. And
no, that's not a year.
And even though I always knew from the time I was 14 and found that footprint and found out what it was that made that footprint. So from that time, even though I've always known that they're out there, man. I'm like one of the people that say, I don't like to say I believe, right? Because I know it.
Sure.
I've always known it, But I was not prepared for it, man. Totally not.
I don't think anybody is. I mean, I think I'm prepared for it.
I did too.
I'm an idiot.
I think it was the circumstances, man, because it was hunting a deer.
Oh.
And I scared up a deer. The deer was laying low, and I scared it up, and it jumped and ran. And right as it did that, just this big, huge scream like I've never heard before in my life from my right. And something hit the tree that I was standing next to. to this day, I still don't know whether it was a rock or a big chunk of wood or what it was. Screamed twice at me. That hit the tree, and I snapped my head to the right, and there it was, about 40 feet, 15 yards away from me. And huge, man, huge. I'm 5'10". This thing stood easily a foot and a half taller than me.
Wow.
And just huge, amazingly huge and scary looking. I mean, I think I peed myself a little. I really do, man. I mean,
I bet.
It was it, and you know, everything goes
I
through your
just heard
mind.
about somebody shirting themselves recently.
Hey, you know what?
Show.
There's no shame in that, man. There's no shame in that at all. Yeah, because I mean, I'm still trying to really wrap my mind around it, really, because
it's
even though knowing that they were out there, just not, you know, and I always thought that I knew what I was going to see when I finally saw one, and it didn't. I mean, this thing, I mean, covered in hair, yes, long hair, as long as yours is, kind of hanging in his face a little bit, very wide, deep set eyes, big jaw, thin lips, huge. This thing had to have been about 4 feet wide, man. I mean, and just hair everywhere except for his chest and his belly a little bit thinner. But the rest of him was covered in hair, dark, kind of, he was black almost. Skin wasn't quite as dark as what his hair was. Kind of a, I don't know, like an ashy color.
Charcoal.
Right? Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, yeah. And his face was like, I don't even know how to describe it, man. Not even like you're not looking at a gorilla, man. You're looking at, like, I don't know, primitive human of some sort of or whatever. And I mean, and everything goes through your mind, man. Like, I think one of the major was like, you know, I'm like, this is how I die. Scaring up a deer that a Sasquatch is hunting. This is how I'm going to, that's fitting because I've been searching for him for 43 years. That's fitting. This is how I'm going to die now. But he never made it. He never made a move towards me. He just stood there staring at me and just like huffing, like just breathing, you know. And I'm like, the only thing I could do was like put my hands up and thinking, man, if you get me out of there. And look, I will admit right now, there's no atheists in a foxhole, man.
No.
I am an atheist, but at that moment, I was not an atheist. Only thing I think of is, God, if you get me out of this alive, I swear I'll never drink again. But yeah, so he and I turned and I went to my Jeep and I got back and sat there. I looked over to his tree line expecting to see him there. Because I didn't hear him following me or nothing. And I didn't see him standing there. Now, doesn't mean he didn't follow me, but I didn't see him. And yeah, man, it's like, and once, like I said, once you get that visual, man, well, especially when they're right there.
You started to say it wasn't what you expected.
And it wasn't.
So
it wasn't.
What did you expect?
Well, look, when I was, when I first started out this whole thing back when I was a kid, I mean, I went through the whole thing. I'm thinking this is a bipedal, some sort of primate bipedal ape, that's walking on. So I'm expecting to see something that looks like freaking Coco the gorilla only walking on 2 feet or something, and it wasn't anything like that, man. It was like, I don't even know how to I mean, Homo erectus, or, I mean, it looked like a primitive human, man. It did not look like, I mean, I can understand how some people might say, well, it looks like a combination between a human and an ape. I understand that, because the face is like so primitive looking that I get that. But I've seen pictures of gorillas. I've seen gorillas in zoos. I've seen chimpanzees. That doesn't cover it, man. Not what I was looking at. And so, I mean, and I don't know if Patty, because you can't really see the PG film, you can't really see her face that clear. I don't know if she kind of looks like that, but her nose looks like that, and that's what really kind of, like, I was expecting totally. His nose looked like ours, except for it was wide and it was flat. Like a boxer had been punched in the nose a bunch of times.
Sure.
But nostrils not facing out, down, just like a human nose. And it was, yeah, I mean, incredible. And like I said, I'm still, and people are like, why did you get it? You get a picture of him? And I'm like, dude, right? Yeah, 7.5 foot tall, breathing, mad at me. I'm going to reach in my pocket to get because I had my cell phone. I'm going to reach in my pocket and be like, hold up, dude, I got to get a picture, because nobody's going to believe this, man. So just hang on. I mean, so, it's like, people can believe it or not, man, but I know what I saw, and I know it was there, and it's freaking scared the living shit out of me.
Well, Matt Niven just said in chat, what I saw looked like a caveman. So
yeah, that really kind of just like, that's about the only way I can put it, because it really did not look like an upright ape. It looked more like caveman. That's all I can say.
right on. It's funny. I just had a friend contact me, and it's only, I don't even think it's been 2 weeks yet, that he had a sighting, and he said the same thing. He goes, "Dude, it wasn't what I was expecting." I was like, "Well, what were you expecting?" He goes, "I don't know, something out of the movies." I'm like, "Well,
Yeah,
sorry to disappoint, dude."
like Ferry and the Hendersons or something, and that's not it, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love that movie, but he didn't look anything like Harry.
Yeah, and I mean, I grew up with, like I was saying earlier, like Boggy Creek, Barry and the Hendersons, Snow Beast, Black Lake, all that. So that's always been, the reference I have. And I've heard so many people say this exact same thing you are. Just, it's totally different. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say I've had my own experience, because I really had no idea what that was. It just sparked the curiosity. But this is something that's on my bucket list. It's a high item, and it has been for as long as I can remember. Like, I believe I know ghosts are real. I have seen one. I'm certain of that. I've seen a night.
I know they're real too. So
I'm positive that I have seen a UFO when I was a kid. I was 9 years old. It was Blue Blue 93. And that was one of the coolest things I have ever seen with my own eyes. Bigfoot is one that I've never seen, and I want to. This is the one that I want to know. I want to know.
And that's the funny thing, man, is that as traumatic, and that's exactly what that situation was. I mean, come on, man. And I didn't mention, the only reason I was in that area that day was to go back out there to get a hiking stick of mine that I actually bought and paid for in a store. And I'm like, I'm not leaving that out there, man. I paid money for that thing. And I was only going out there to retrieve it because I'd left it leaning against a tree when I casted a footprint, which I now know and I'm absolutely sure was made by him. And I was going out there to get that, not even expecting it. And come on, man, I interrupt a deer hunt. I mean, what are the odds on that?
Chances, yeah.
What are the odds? I didn't know he was there. I didn't know the deer was there. I guarantee you he knew I was coming. And then it led me to go, why did he do what he did? Because if he'd have done nothing at all, I would have never known he was there. He could have just like kept quiet, moved off to the side, because I wasn't even aware of him until he screamed at me twice and threw whatever it was that he threw at the tree.
And
I
the
would have
deer,
never known.
he didn't even pursue the deer. He just like,
No, he was looking at me.
yeah.
I'm sure that after I left, he probably did track that deer down again. But I mean, what are the odds on that, man? It's like, that's just so weird, man, to just be in that situation. I wasn't even expecting anything like that. I was just out there to get my damn walking stick, man. And even though as traumatic as it was, I still want to see him again. That's freaking weird, man.
It is weird. I want to see one. I want to see one. People say be careful what you wish for, and I get that. But I think I can handle it. I really honestly do think I can handle it. You know,
Yeah.
That's why I went on an expedition. That's why I'm going to go back in the woods and you know, I want to see one.
Yeah, I just came from back out there. I just went out there camping this past weekend. I went out there. My wife was supposed to go with me, but it was too cold Sunday night. It was like me and my dog about froze to death, man, because it was cold and windy and it snowed.
Yeah, you guys got one of those crazy cold fronts that came in, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just came back from there, and I mean, nothing really happened except for to her. Saturday, when she showed up Saturday, because we were doing this I love my park thing, right? We were volunteering some time to give back to the places we love in the forest to go and stuff, you know. And I had to go into town to get some D batteries for my air pump for the mattress. And she stayed at the camp with the dog, and I come back and she says to me, she says, "Where have you been? You know, I didn't think you were coming back." And I'm like, "What? What's up?" She's like, "It's so scary." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I heard that baby sounding cry again." Because we were out there camping, like it was the same time last year when I saw him. We heard this weird ass cry in the woods at about 1:30 in the morning. It sounded like a human baby crying. And I've heard a lot of animals. And somebody told me, it said, "Well, you know, bobcats." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I've heard bobcats."
Did you ever hear a dying rabbit?
And
a dying rabbit sounds like a baby crying.
Right. But this was like totally different, man. I mean, look, I'm not a wildlife biologist or anything.
Sure.
Now, I won't say it, but I've heard just about every noise I think that most of the animals that live in this state make. And this was like, you would have been like, damn, who left their baby in the woods? And so she says she heard that again. And that was the same night we saw orbs too, which was weird. I've never seen that before, but she heard that. She said, "I heard that baby cry again." And then she said, "I heard something stomping behind the tent, like big thumps. Boom, boom, boom." And I was like, "Are you shitting me now? You pulling my chain or what?" Because she's a skeptic, right? And she's like, "No, no." And the dog was barking and growling, but she had her by the collar so she wouldn't go out of the tent because she was in the tent. And so, yeah, she had an experience there. But I'm like, well, yeah, I missed it. But I mean, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was him. You know, I can't say that. But you know, she had an experience out there just recently. So,
wow.
Okay, now you said the magic word. You said orbs. Could you tell me a little bit about what happened there?
What's that? I missed.
The orbs. You said you saw orbs.
Oh, well, we were in a tent and we were just laying down in the tent. We were getting, I guess we were getting ready to sleep or whatever. And at first it was on my side. You could see it through the side of the tent. Because I had the window, I have like this yurt. It's a yurt tent. And I had the window zipped up, but you could see this glow. And it started on my side and it kind of just moved. And my wife was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "What is what?" And she's like, "That glow, what is that?" And I'm looking and I'm like, "I don't know." And I see this glow and it kind of moved and we're watching it and it kind of moved around and then it moved to the front of the tent and we had the flap unzipped, just the mosquito netting, just the netting was zipped. Okay. So we could see out the front of the tent and this glow comes around and and sitting there basically in the front and we're watching it and it's like it's white. It's just this white light and it moved from there, then it moved around to her side of the tent and it did this like a couple of times, like it circled the tent and then finally it kind of came back around in the front and it kind of moved off to a distance and then it just kind of disappeared, man. And we were both like, what the hell was that, man? And so I'm like freaking, because I'm like freaking out myself inside my head. I'm like, that's Firefly. Right. But how many times have you seen just one Firefly?
Right.
And fireflies blink.
Yeah,
this thing wasn't blinking. This was a solid ball of light, man.
Okay,
moving around.
Say it was.
About
how big would you say it was?
I don't know, maybe about the size of a $50. Okay. It's about that size, yeah. And I mean, it was just like I'd never seen anything like that before in my life, ever, in the woods. And I've been out in the woods a lot, man. I spent a lot. Never seen that before, man. And I was like, I still don't know what it is. And I mean, there's all kinds of native things about, like even the old man that I knew when I was a kid, man. I knew a guy here, Walter, was part of the Seneca Nation, and he told me all about what they call Sasquatch. They call him Oneyahe, and he told me about him, and even he mentioned about sometimes there's lights that now I haven't been able to put them together because I've never seen them both together. You know what I'm saying? But I saw an orb that light. We didn't have any kind of encounter with us with the Sasquatch that I eventually saw, I guess, because it was after that camping trip when I actually ran into him. But it was just an orb, man. I was like, yeah, it was just weird. She just told me today, she's like, I want to go back out there in August of this year. It's like, I want to go back out there and see if we see that again. And because it was, so she's like, maybe we'll see it because it's the same time of year, and I'm thinking, you might have something there. Maybe that's when he's going to be around too, because I saw him last August. So maybe I'll see him again this August. I don't know. But yeah, the orb was weird, man. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what it was. It was an orb. That's all I can say.
I don't recall ever seeing like lights in the woods. I have seen an orb, but it was in a house, and I know it was a spirit orb, but not out in the woods.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen it.
For the lights. It's funny. except the lights that from the expedition. But I don't, I have theory on
Oh
that.
yeah, I was watching that one when you guys were out there and you were seeing them orbs, those lights. Yeah, yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that in the woods, man. And it was just freaky, man. I was like, I don't know what that is, you know.
Hmm. And they're all over. I mean, all over the country, you hear stories,
Mm-hmm.
different lights. It's pretty fascinating, So I'm gonna keep exploring. There's a lot of things I'm getting into down here that I'm kind of getting excited about, like the whole, uh, fossil hunting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, to go hang out in a river and just scoop up some gravel and keep I could get into that. See, something like that, actually, I would get addicted to doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Same here. I always wanted to go visit like archaeological sites and stuff like that and just look around. I think that'd be awesome. I think it'd be fun. I love history, things like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm totally into the I mean, I guess it goes hand in hand too because as I got older, I mean, I'm totally into like anthropological,
Mhm.
the origins of people, and I think it kind of works itself right into the whole Sasquatch thing because I think they belong somewhere in there, man. I mean, because as much as you have scientists and look, some of them I do respect. The ones that are actually taking this seriously and looking at it, I got certain respect for them. But I think they're off when they're talking about the I was into the whole Gigantopithecus thing myself, man, for a while.
Me too.
But now that I've actually seen one, I'm like, no. I think it's more. It's somewhere in the line of the Homo genus, somewhere, man. I mean, I don't know where, but so the whole anthropological thing and the fossil thing, man, I would just like that'd be killer, man, to just find like a primitive, skull or hell, even if I were to find arrowheads and stuff, that'd be cool, man. I mean,
Yeah, I'm looking probably more in the way of shark's teeth and bones and
mhm.
what do you call them? The rays they don't have teeth, they have plates. They have a grinding plate, and you find a lot of those in there too.
Oh yeah, because you're down in Florida now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about like the manta rays and stuff like that.
Yeah. They don't have teeth. They have grinding plates,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll find a lot of those in the when you're looking for fossils, and a lot of shark's teeth.
Yeah.
I've always learned how to dive and go out to the coast and like start swimming around shipwrecks and things like that. I always thought that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll start small and just snorkel. I mean, I've the only time I've ever like dove as far as with a tank, scuba tank was in a pool. I've never done an open water, so like I said, I'll stick with the snorkeling because it kind of goes hand in hand with the kind of searching. I just the type of searching I want to do. Like I would love to, I asked Lynn today. I said, are there places you can go swim, but like do underwater metal detecting, or besides looking for fossils. And there are places like where there's you get a lot of people. Any places that people tube. If anybody tubes down a river, they lose shit. It's sitting on the bottom of the river. So I want to do things like that. It's just different, but it's fun.
The other side, magnet fishing.
That scares me.
Really?
I don't want to start pulling up guns off the bottom of a canal, you know.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You mentioned about my buddy Mike wanting a megalodon tooth from LIB.
Hmm?
And I know this has nothing to do with Sasquatch or Bigfoot or whatever, but
Oh, not everything has to here.
what do you think the odds are that Megalodon didn't actually go extinct?
What, that they might still be out there? I don't know. I hear those theories, but I think it would. I think on something like that, I think there would be more proof. I've seen some videos that I think were just bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've seen some that you were like, huh, maybe.
Maybe.
Um, I don't know.
They did
I mean,
find
because if you
so the
The what?
they did find the giant squid, so the possibilities are
Arcus, yeah.
yeah.
But then
And I'm thinking, because if you think about it, there's things like, I mean, and I know it's been brought up a billion times because it's the archetypal, you thought it was extinct, but it wasn't, the coelacanth, man.
yeah.
I mean, that thing was supposed to have been extinct for millions of years, and they're like, oh,
And
wait, here's
people are
one.
eating them.
Yeah.
Wait, they're not extinct yet. We're not done yet.
Yeah. Pass me the lemon.
Hang on a minute. Who's got the tartar sauce?
But yeah, oh man, I'll tell you, man, I'm an old sailor, man. So used to being out at sea, man. And I'll tell you, I've seen a great white up close and personal, but I'll tell you, man, I don't know, man. Megalodons, if they still exist, I sure as hell wouldn't want to be in the water with one of them things, man.
Yeah, I don't. I just have my doubts on that. Even though we have explored so little of the ocean.
Yeah. It's one of the last frontiers, really.
Yeah, and maybe there's who knows what's down there. If we've only explored 10% of it or whatever, I know it's a small percentage.
Which is really kind of freaky because that's the two places we really don't know that much about. Really, still, is our ocean and outer space.
Well, I think I'd rather learn what's on the planet than away from the planet first.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, I've said it before. Is like I'm not worried about UFOs.
Right.
They're up there. I can't do shit about them. I want to know what's on the ground next to me.
Right.
Can't worry about what's up there.
Absolutely. Hey, there's Mike.
Yeah, LIB. Yeah, no, and there's a very good chance of finding megalodon teeth down here. I hear
That would be cool.
all the time. The stuff they find.
Yeah. That would be cool.
And it's funny, like some there's just a lot of islands down here, and then like one island is known for like just sand dollars. That's weird. Why is one island just why are they so special there?
Huh.
It's weird. So yeah, there's so much exploring to do down here. I got to figure out.
This has nothing to do with that, but kind of in a way. There's a place here in New York, and man, I forget the name of the town, but it's the town they're known for turtle stones, and it's these stones that they're natural, but they look like turtles.
And that's the way they were naturally shaped.
Yeah, and they look like turtles, man. It's like, and it's a big thing, man. It's like, and that's the only place you find them, though.
That's odd.
Yeah,
It has something to do with the receding glacier.
Something. Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole story behind it, but I forget what the whole thing is. But yeah, turtle stones.
Toby, what's happening, man? Good to see you in chat. Hey, Murray. What else? Sawdust Beast. Hey, man. Great show. What I saw. Yeah, you guys did a good job. Just wind them up, let them go. Sorry, guys, I had to bust Mark's balls, but great job, guys. On Sawdust Beast, that was familiar. So, what else is going on up in New York State? It's been a while.
Well, we're going up to the Adirondacks. Me and the wife, we're doing a camping trip up there at the end of the month. Basically Memorial Day. We're going to go up there. I don't know, about around the 27th. I want to take her up to this one camping spot up there that I'd been to in a place called Moose River Wilds is what it's called. It's part of it there, and where I camped and heard some stuff. Kind of your typical. I did actually hear some knocks, some tree knocks, and some whoops one night when I was there. Now, there's a lot of people that go up there to research. So, could it have been somebody researching, knocking, and whooping?
I'm sure that's happened many times.
Could be, but I did see. There's a marshy area behind the campsite where I was camped at, and I think it's somewhere on my page. It was several years ago now, but it's somewhere on my page. I did see a couple of footprints near this marshy area that were pretty good size, and I couldn't get down to cast them, and they were partially in the water. I wouldn't have been able to cast them anyway, but I would manage to take some photographs of them. So yeah, I kind of want to go back up there and take her up there and show it because it's really nice camping spot. Beautiful country up there, man. And I'm kind of doing this thing with my page now where, I'm kind of expanding a little bit, and because I've been doing this for so long that, and I'm totally still, it's the major part, doing the research and trying to find out what this is and seeing if I can see, the one that I saw again or any others anywhere.
Sure.
So I've decided I'm doing this thing where I'm doing camping trips now, and I'm just going to start going all over the state of New York to different state forests and etc., looking for signs and of their presence somewhere, and actually doing some camping shows. It's going to be about everything. It's going to be about camping. It's going to be about cooking good when you're camping.
Absolutely. There's so much you can do.
It's going to be a little bit of bushcraft, maybe, nothing major because I don't have to build a shelter because I got my yurt, but, just little tips to make camping easier. And then, doing the research, looking around, see if I can find signs of them,
So what's your page? Where can people find you?
Well, the Facebook page is Western New York Bigfoot Research Organization.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, that's it for all three of them. It's my YouTube page is the same thing, Western New York Bigfoot Research Organization, and so is my Twitter. I just started to Twitter, so I haven't really messed a whole lot with Twitter, but yeah, YouTube and Facebook is mostly where you'll find all of my stuff, especially the podcasts and stuff too. So yeah, so it's just that's easy to go to there and
so
Nikki,
Nikki has a question. Who do your guests follow in the Bigfoot community? Anybody?
Well, one of the big ones that I've been following recently, Lyle Blackburn. I read his book on Boggy Creek. That was excellent.
Did you see the second one?
I haven't got to read it yet, but I do know which one you're talking about. That's
Beyond Boggy Creek, yeah. Yeah, good book.
Yeah, he does a really good job at researching and just giving you as much information as possible. I love what he's doing.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to actually get to meet him one time and talk to him. He's a very nice guy too. He's really, really genuine. Good guy. Yeah. As far as it goes for the people that I follow, I'm actually I'm associated with the New York Bigfoot Society with Gary Hootenholla, and those are all my colleagues right there. We do a lot of stuff. We got some stuff plans coming up and everything to do together. And who else do I follow? As far as following, Sasquatch, Odyssey.
Never heard.
Following them. And there's one, Sasquatch Highway. They're based out west. I know if you guys know Thomas Markham from Kentucky. He did Bigfoot, The Legend is Real, basically, which is a good, if you can find that on Amazon, great documentary that he did.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, Thomas Markham. I follow him. He has a crypto crew, is what his thing is. So yeah, that's a few of them. Yeah, I mean, I don't follow a lot of pages, but there's certain people I follow. I follow you. Yeah, it's about
Yeah. Well, I hope that answered your question, Nikki.
And of course, like Bigfoot Odyssey, Mark Larry with Beasts of the Woods, Sawdust Beast, Mountain Beast Mysteries with Justin Chernopesky, really good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I follow him too, man. That guy is spot on, man. He's kind of like almost a kindred spirit. I won't say,
Who's that? The Pajurskis?
Yeah, Justin. Yeah, Mountain Beast Mysteries.
And I love how analytical he is at breaking everything down and just trying to examine every possible scenario.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get more into. I'm more into stories. Like I love listening to Buckeye Bigfoot and Cam Buckner and Dixie Cryptid, or Dogman Encounters, Jeffrey Nadalmi, and I just love stories. I can listen to them all day. I go to sleep to them. I don't wake up to them, but
there's one you might like, Pac West Bigfoot. Have you ever checked them out, Mobes?
I have. The guy reminds me of Andy Dick. The comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've listened to just about everything. I've been getting into this Lilith Dread. She does narrations, Dogman stuff, Bigfoot. It's just, I don't know. There's just something I prefer more stories, like firsthand accounts over just I don't want to hear just like creepypasta shit. I'm not interested. Yeah. I want to hear true stories.
Yeah.
Because it's just listening to true stories is why I'm here now.
Right.
I put enough faith into these people telling these stories that I'm going to commit myself to coming on and starting a show.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know what, and that's the important thing about having these types of podcasts. I think, anyway, that's my opinion. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to start them, is so that, and it even says it on my page, man, is the same thing you're doing, man. I just want it, I just want it to be a safe place where somebody can come on and tell me, their encounter. Don't be afraid, man. You don't have to worry about somebody ridiculing you or calling you crazy or like, oh, that's bullshit or whatever, man. I want that to be, and just like you're doing, and I mean, and that's what we need, you know. And this whole thing, man, is a place for people like us all to get together and and be able to, you know, just get it off your chest without worrying about, you know, somebody, you know, laughing at you or whatever, like you're crazy or whatever, you know.
I don't have to be a believer to be, you know,
Right,
supportive. You know,
right,
I get these people went through shit, and I believe
right,
it. I've been through some strange stuff myself, so why wouldn't I
right,
believe them?
right.
You know,
Oh,
we,
absolutely, man.
we
I
can
mean,
all
like
see,
I could be,
you know,
yeah, I mean, you know, some people would be like, look at me, and they could be skeptical of my story, and I understand that. I mean, that's a fantastical story, man, and I understand that, man. I mean, like I said, what are the odds? You're gonna freaking jump a deer and a Sasquatch was hunting, right? I mean, but and I can be like somebody can come out and say, well, you know, this is my experience, and there might be some of it that I might not, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't believe it. It was your experience. I might be a little skeptical, or I might not understand that part of it because it hasn't happened to me, but I still want to hear it because it happened to you. You know, it happened to you and you experienced it. So I want to know about it.
yeah, I encourage people left and right to tell their stories, and
Absolutely.
don't stop with one show. Don't stop with telling it once. Move along. Keep telling your story. Let
Mm-hmm.
people hear it. Get to as many people as you can to hear it. You
Absolutely.
know, and you know there are people like, you know, Sasquatch Chronicles that
That's another good one. Yeah.
make such a difference, you know, in
Mm-hmm.
getting word out and giving people a platform to tell their stories.
Yep.
You know, that's how I started, was listening to
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Uh, it's important, you know, to like I said, I haven't had an experience, but I believe these people, and hell yeah, I here you go. You want to tell your story? Feel free. No one's gonna fuck with you. No one's gonna ridicule you. You know, we're all in this together.
Well,
So,
you know, sometimes it's rare, but you know, actually odds are, man, you know, you keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, the odds are that you'll eventually have one.
hey, you got to be in it to win it. So
Yeah.
if you're out there, your odds are better.
I mean, it took me a long, long time, but it still finally happened. But you know, so I mean, yeah, and absolutely, Mogs. The more you're out there, you
Yeah,
know.
you're not gonna. It's you're sitting on your couch or in front of your computer constantly. It ain't gonna happen.
Nope.
You know, just like, you know,
Nope.
you're not gonna go out and catch a fish in front of your computer. You're not gonna, you know,
Nope.
people need to get out more.
Absolutely. And sometimes you have to go out and freeze your ass off,
No, I don't encourage that, but you
like
know,
I did, like I did last Sunday night, man. I keep telling him
yeah,
my dog
I
was
was
with
so
me.
surprised at that cold front that came through, and then I was like, "Well, wait a minute, I'm in Florida. Wait, it's May 1st. They're about. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember it being in Wisconsin and friggin' it's snowing on May 1st. It was like,
I
what the
was like,
hell?
you know, it was a 3 dog night, man, and I only have one dog with me. You know.
That's funny.
I've only seen snow in May one time in North Carolina, and that was the night before my senior prom. It dumped like a foot in
Oh
an
wow.
hour. It was hard. It was heavy. It meant business, and I got stuck.
I spent a winter in North Carolina towards the coast, and it was the mildest winter that I had ever experienced. You know,
Yeah.
it was just bizarre. I saw it snow like once at like midnight, and it was like these flurries. It wasn't even like, but I saw it, so I was like, oh, it's snowed. Yeah, cool. But
I
yeah,
love North Carolina, man. That's a beautiful state, man. It
yeah,
really is, dude.
and that was just so mild. And then I've been to Wisconsin, where you know you just freeze. You know, oh,
Yeah.
you know, Western New York and upstate New York. That's a
Yeah.
different type of cold. You know, I grew up in New Jersey. You know, and it got cold, but not that cold. Holy shit!
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, up here, man, like we say, we got we got almost winter, winter, still winter, summer,
Back to
almost
almost.
winter. Yeah, we get. My wife asked me one time. She says, "Does it ever, when we first moved back up here, or at least when I first moved, she never lived here, but we moved up here, and she was like, "Does it ever get warm here?" And I said, "Yeah, you get about 1 week in August, it'll be okay. Don't worry about it."
Don't expect a tan though.
Yeah,
No, I used to love going up to New York State, like up to like I said, the Thousand Islands.
yeah.
You go up there as a kid, up and just fish. Then we started, going across into Ontario, and
Yeah.
so we kind of graduated north. But yeah, that's just a beautiful, beautiful
Yeah,
state.
truthfully, I mean the summers. Really, truthfully, the summers in New York are gorgeous, man. I mean, it's just beautiful in the summers. Yeah, the winters suck like hell, man, and they last. It seems like forever, but summertime is like just like awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I have family in New York State. Not too far up, but um, yeah, I always enjoyed going up that way. I've hunted New York State a little bit, more like uh, Kingston area, down
Okay,
that way.
I know
Um,
where that's at. Yeah.
We got friends from that area.
okay, but yeah. Who else? Rafaela, hello. Who else is here? I just saw somebody and I wanted to say hi, and then I blinked and they were gone. Uncle Bones, what's happening? I don't know if I said hi yet. It's funny, my ass is dragging. I about 3 o'clock, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a nap. It's gonna be a late night. What the hell? I'm gonna kill 2 hours. Yeah, that didn't happen. I laid there for like 3 minutes, and I don't know, the dogs got into a fight or something. I got dragged this way, so I'm like, damn, I'm tired.
That's my dog behind me. She's snoozing.
Oh, yeah,
She's my girl, man.
my dog's around here somewhere.
She's a little hound dog. Got her. She's a pandemic dog, man. So we got her 8 weeks old, and rescued her. Basically, we got her from a kill shelter,
Oh,
and yeah, and she was 8 weeks old when we got her. She'll be 2 years old come July.
what kind of
Yeah.
dog?
She's part she's part coonhound, which is kind of a coonhound that I'd never heard of. It's called a Walker treeing hound.
Okay.
And then she's part what do they say? Believe it or she's supposed to have some kind of husky, and I don't see husky in her at all. But yeah, she's like a hound, basically. She's a
Good,
mutt.
good dog though.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I take her out in the woods, man. She's like nose to the ground constantly, man.
Yeah, I don't
And
know. I heard some of those coon dogs can get mean when they get out of some stuff.
well, it was funny. She was mean as hell when she was a puppy. Uh, we got her 8 weeks, and she got to be about 6 months old. And she started showing a bit of a vicious streak to her, and actually bit me a couple of times.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, you know what? When I was a kid, I told my wife, I was like, my dad would have shot that dog the first time it would have bit him. But I'm not like that, right? So, but we ended up taking her to, believe it or not, of a behaviorist. and we ended up getting her one of these obedience collars that just kind of vibrates. Um, and well, you can shock her if you had to, but I've never had to really shock her. It's just it'll vibrate to get her attention. And man, that thing has done amazing job with her. She is such a good dog now. I don't even have to use the damn thing anymore. She'll do exactly what I say every time I say it now.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
I don't, I know the shock collars work. I don't encourage them, but if it's a behavioral adjustment, I think it's,
Yeah,
warranted.
yeah, that was the only thing that would work with her, man. I mean, she was, and it wasn't really her fault. She was abandoned as a puppy. The mother, her mama dog, kind of just abandoned the litter. So I think she had like issues because of that, that abandonment issue.
Well,
So she never really had she never really had any training from a mother dog,
and eight,
so
8 weeks is still young. I mean, I got my my shepherd at 8 weeks.
yeah.
Um,
She was always, when we saw her, when we went to go see her, about when we first go to pick her up, and was talking about getting her. I noticed with her, she was one of 8, and she would steal the water bowl and the food bowl. She'd drag them away from all the rest of the puppies. Like, nope, this is mine. You guys get the hell away from it, And she had a really big problem with that. As after we got her, she would go into this guarding thing where she would get vicious, man. Like, you wouldn't even know why. It's like, I'm guarding this box over here in the kitchen. Do not come near this box. I will bite you, that kind of thing. And but and she still does that a little bit, but if I say no, Sally, she understands now. And it was the collar that did it. The behaviorist that we took her to is like, people come from all over the country to take their dogs to this person, to modify their behavior if they're like she was, So, but she's a great dog now, man.
I find recently my shepherd is since we moved in, we where we are now. I have 2 dogs and there's 5 other dogs in the house. They weren't used to other dogs. She's still my little one, my little terrier. She gets along no problem. The shepherd, on the other hand, is a little more protective.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very protective of her food dish. Like if she spends a lot of time in the room, if I open the door and there's another dog outside, she'll like hop off and go right to her food dish and start eating. Like, this is
Right.
mine. And she'll eat. Like, I I got to put the dishes up, the food dishes out of the way, because she'll just constantly eat because there's always a dog around,
Yeah.
But yeah, I noticed that she's very protective of her food.
Yeah. Yeah. Sally, man, she is great and that's why I love taking her out every time I go out into the woods, And I mean, I know people are like, well, you better be careful if there's Sasquatch around with your dog. And I get that, but, I take her all the time, and, when we're out in the woods, man, she's, like I said, she'll get a nose for something, and she'll want to go off and follow it. But she won't get too far away from me. She'll all of a sudden stop and realize, oh shit, how far am I from daddy?
Mm-hmm.
And she'll turn and look to see where I'm at. And if I'm too far away, she'll stop and she'll wait for me to catch up, or she'll come running back to me, So yeah, she's perfect out in the woods, man. It's great. I love having her out there. I'm just,
Yeah, I haven't.
I'm wondering how she ever will react if we run into a Squatch out there or something.
Yeah, I don't know if my Shepherd would be a good booger dog. She might be. She doesn't have that woods experience. You know, like I had her on the expedition, but I kept her in camp. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. I don't know how my dog would react out there.
Yeah.
Okay, now my dog, her personality is more or less she is the real life female equivalent of Scrappy Doo.
Really? Yeah.
But for a little while, okay, if she sees the monster, she is the biggest, baddest, bravest thing walking this earth until it looks.
Put him up.
When it looks at her, its assholes and elbows and retreat. So she would be, but beyond that, saving me, no, I'm doomed.
Well, see, that's the funny thing is around here in her own yard, I have like about an acre and a half of land here that my house sits on, and we have part of it fenced off. You know, I have part of it fenced off. Got a big backyard. The rest of it on the other side of the fence, I just leave it. It's basically a field that I mow down every now and then. But she'll, even in our fenced in, she's such a coward, man, in her own yard. But I take her out in the woods, all of a sudden, man, I'm the baddest cat out here in the woods, as long as it's something like a squirrel, right, or something smaller than her. You know, if it's bigger than her, she might be like, oh, what? Oh shit! What the hell is that? Like, I mean, she saw a deer one time, and I was like, God, I'm afraid she's gonna chase deer. Nope. Mm-mm. She was like, what the hell is that? You know, and she wanted to bark, and she was like, no, runs back to me. I'm like, you big coward. It's a deer.
When we were on the expedition, I had both my dogs with me. And we were camped right next to a horse paddock. It was a big field. So it was kind of interesting to see my dog's reaction to horses.
Well,
now, Lucy, the little one, had seen them before, but Maya had never experienced horses. So, I mean, what the hell was she thinking, you know? Damn, that's a big dog, you know? Like,
right. Right. What have they been feeding you?
Yeah. And they barked, Lucy barked at him and stuff, but it was cool to see how they reacted to such a big animal.
Right. A good dog.
Just blowing through your trend. Remiel, how are you? I saw you earlier and I meant to say hi. What else? How much time we're an hour and a half. Wow, already. Yeah, I always like get quiet when I start glancing through chat.
Yeah. Hilton wanted to know what he missed or she missed.
Everything, Hilton.
Everything. That's right. He missed everything.
That'll learn you. Should have fucking.
I love that saying.
That'll learn you.
That'll learn you. That's right.
Yeah. I was talking to Hilton earlier today. Hilton's cool. Hilton's gonna have to come back on soon. It's always just fun. You know, it was funny the first time. Gotta scroll and see what I missed.
Yeah.
Hilton says, "Fuck off."
Fuck off.
Okay. Fuck you then.
Good answer, Hilton.
I don't know who the hell he was talking to.
Good answer. Whatever.
I was like, yeah, good Hilton. Oh, fuck off.
Fuck off.
Fucking Kiwis. Sorry.
That's hilarious.
How Iron Dogger is like, I love good banter.
Hey, I'll be right back. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so Iron, you're gonna have to bring that banter to Tuesday nights, girl.
Oh, Mose, have you ever heard anything, any updates from your old roommate?
No, I haven't been in touch with him, dude. I want to get in touch with him. What's tomorrow? Friday already? Damn. Maybe I'll give him a call tomorrow and try to line him up to get him on next week because I really want him to share that experience. And again, I was flattered that I was first person he contacted, but he was like, dude, I didn't know who else to call. Like, who else is going to believe this shit? And I'm like, well, tell me about it. And I was surprised at how I reacted to it. It was just calm, cool, and collected, and like asking him, "You okay with this? You're right." He's like, "Yeah, I just didn't know what to. I wasn't what I was expecting." And he was kind of freaked out, but hopefully, soon we'll get him on. It's he's cool. We've camped together, we've fished together, and but all that time I didn't know he was into Sasquatching. I had no idea until 10 years later, and he's my roommate, and then I find out. So that was kind of bizarre. I'm like, well, how did you not tell me this? Kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I work with a guy who's from New Jersey, and we just happened to start talking about Bigfoot one day. Like, I got a sticker on my car, and he saw it. He's like, "You believe in Bigfoot?" I'm like, well, I think it's possible. And he's like, well, I used to live in New Jersey, and I saw one. And he starts going into the story and telling me, and that's been happening more and more lately, and it's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shit like this. Just wearing a Bigfoot T-shirt, just putting it out there.
Yeah,
Could be anything, like a sticker on a vehicle. I mean, shit. I saw a truck go by that had like 5 Bigfoot stickers. I wanted to like chase the fucking guy down just to talk to him. Hey, tell me about your stickers?
Yeah, my Jeep, man, on both doors, I got 2 great big stickers on each door. On my Jeep says Sasquatch search vehicle.
All right,
and people are always like taking pictures. It was in my. I have 2 driveways to my house here, and my one driveway goes into the backyard, and my Jeep was sitting in the driveway, and I walked out my door, and like these people were walking by, and they had a camera, and they acted all embarrassed and stuff. They were like, "Oh, we were just taking a picture of your Jeep. Is it okay if we take a picture of your Jeep?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, man." And it's like, yeah, Sasquatch search vehicle. That's right.
I'd be like, "You want to sit in it? Go ahead."
Yeah. I'm like, here's my card.
So Whit has a question. Joe, what was your approach in getting away from your Sasquatch encounter? Did you run?
No, I did not run. I wanted to run. I did want to run. But no, my approach was exactly what I said. I just kind of like threw up my hands like this, and I mean, I don't know whether they understand the language or not, but
I think that was a smart thing to do.
I was like, easy there, big guy. I didn't mean to fuck up your day. That's exactly what I said. And just kind of like took 3 steps backwards, and the trail that I was on walking back, and it's really not a trail, it's a game trail was what it was. It's not like a hiking trail. And I was just like, easy, big fella. And I just kind of turned a little bit. I didn't turn my back towards him, but just kind of turned, and he was off to this. And I was like, okay, let me go. And so I was walking fast by the time I got out towards my Jeep. but I didn't run. No. Mm-mm.
Well, I think it kind of puts them a little more at ease when like what you did was you're showing them that your hands are empty, you know,
Absolutely.
and I think that's a calming, they're not all pissed off, I think, or on
Yeah.
defense.
Well, you know what? I mean, you could, everybody's always like, well, everybody's always like, well, we all seem to have this opinion that they're like the super intelligent, right? Like they're intelligent, but it's true, they are, because I mean, I don't know, like just looking at this guy, looking at me, you could see the intelligence in his face. Like, I mean, I think he knew that I was already scared shitless, and I don't know. I mean, maybe he knew that, okay, it was a mistake on my part, obviously. I didn't know he was there, and like I said, I'm pretty sure he knew I was coming. I mean, that probably sounded like a freight train walking back through there to go get my stick, man. And, but I think he knew that, hey, yeah, at least I'm thinking that, because he didn't do anything to me. He didn't make a move towards me.
He's probably more just pissed that you screwed up his hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if he really wanted to do anything to me, come on, something that big, he probably could have been on me in 3-4 steps and, boom, he would have had me.
Yeah, you could have been the replacement for the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, but no, you know what? And the funny thing is I've always told people, if you ever have an encounter, I was like, one of the things you should never do is run. Just like, you don't run from any other animal either.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that, they're like bears or whatever, they're more intelligent than that, but you never run. I'm like, don't run. Try to stay calm. And, that's the only thing that I took my own advice, which I never do. I never take my own advice ever. But I did at that time, because I think it was because I didn't know what else to do. And plus, I think I knew that running would have done no good, even if I had ran. I mean, it would have done me no good if he really wanted to do something bad to me.
It would have been a futile attempt. Yeah.
So. Absolutely.
Well, no, it's if it's important to keep your head about you, but not everybody can pull that off.
Well, I can understand, man. I mean, it's hard, man. I mean, I'm not even trying to like even suggest that I had any composure whatsoever, but I mean, I guess to a certain extent I had a little bit, but I run from skunks. That's funny because Craig, that is fucking hilarious because I actually ran from a skunk myself one time, man. And I did run. I didn't run from a Sasquatch, but I ran from a damn skunk. Because that son of a bitch was coming right up onto the porch of the cabin I was at. And me and my wife at the time, it was my first wife, we were sitting on the porch of this cabin, and this skunk dude was just like, la-di-da-dee-dee-doo, coming right up on the porch. And I looked over and I yelled, skunk! And jumped up, ran inside, slammed the screen door, leaving her out there with the fucking skunk, man. I was like, fuck this. I ain't fucking with no skunk.
That's funny. Yeah. Arizona, we had a lot of skunks. And it's just, yeah. Dogs get sprayed. It's like, at least the fucking Sasquatch isn't going to spray you.
That we know of.
They might piss on you, but yeah.
Right. It's like, damn, that would suck.
Heard those stories too. Pissing on someone's tent while they're in it. Oh,
Oh,
too funny.
that would suck, man. He just reminded me. I could have blamed that on my. I was. That's nothing to do with. Well, it does. I was camping with a friend of mine, lifelong friend. Grew up with him here. We were down in the woods behind his house, camping, basically, and drinking. God, we were young too, man, teenagers, and drinking. And I went over to a tree, take a leak, and he said, "Whatever you do, man, don't piss on my sleeping bag." And I'm like, dude, I'm whizzing. I'm like, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm not gonna piss on your sleeping bag, man. Turn around, look down. I'm pissing dead on the end of his sleeping bag. I could have blamed it on Sasquatch, man.
It was a booger, man.
It was a booger. Wasn't me.
Who just said that? Richie Evans says, I love the smell of skunks. My favorite ever. I actually like the smell also. It's just a weed thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love
No,
the
I'm
smell of
serious.
skunk, but
Drive down the road, I smell a skunk. It doesn't bother me. People get grossed out. When a skunk is disgusting is as soon as it sprays. If you've ever gotten sprayed by a skunk, you're like, what the hell is, oh shit. You realize what it is. But when it first comes out, it's like, what is this? Oh no. Yeah. But yeah, if I smell it like going down the road, I like it. It just doesn't. I like it.
it's like, yeah, time to pack a bowl.
Yeah.
I've blamed on skunks before. Somebody comes out, what's that? It must have been a skunk went through here. I don't know.
Must have been a skunk, yeah. Lots of skunks around here, man.
Oh my.
Me.
That's what my wife does every time she walks by my man cave. And she's like, it smells like a skunk's in here. I'm like, well, maybe. Might be one outside the window there.
That dog won't come on my lap. Say hi, Maya. Come on up. Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
the funny thing is what I never realized, even growing up here. I mean, I know we have them, but I didn't realize we had as many porcupines in New York State as we do.
never
And to this very day, and I'm 57 years old, I've never seen a freaking porcupine.
Yeah,
But we have them here.
So Whit wants to know, Last of the Wilds, ever go to Uwari?
No, I haven't been up to Uwari yet, but it is one of the places that I do want to go. I got a few things that I want.
North Carolina, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about the center of the state. But
That's a hot spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
You hear a lot about that.
Let's see, I know BFRO has quite a few in that area. And that's really what I did when I first really got into this and started taking it seriously. Like these notebooks, I have these things laying around all over the place. And one of them was, it was mostly just my Bigfoot notes because 2 years ago, some friends and I were planning a camping trip somewhere. We were trying to decide where we wanted to go. Uwari was one of the places we were considering, South Mountain State Park. And we settled with Fontana Lake, the Dennis Martin area. And we stayed there for a few days. We didn't really find any anything definitive. We found some interesting things. Doug, the guy who was with us, he was walking. He was checking out this campsite that was next to us. We were the only ones up there, and he found this little tree branch that was kind of hanging over, and it had been broke, and it was about, I don't know, 8, 9 feet off the ground, something like that.
Before we get to it, Dennis Martin, you said Dennis Martin was a missing 411 case, correct? Okay, just so people know who Dennis Martin is. Continue. Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, it wasn't that big. I mean, it was maybe about the size of my pinky. So okay, and then we went a little further up, and there's a trail that shoots off up the hill. But right before you get to the trail, there was a bigger tree. I don't know, maybe about that big around, and it had been broke, and it was, you could see a clear twist in it.
Mm-hmm.
Something had twisted, and it was kind of wrapped around this other tree that was next to it. And we got pictures, video, documented. We did find. I'm not saying any of this is Bigfoot related. I'm just saying we went to this area for this purpose, and this is what we found. We did find, I don't know, I suppose you can call it like a little or something, but I'm hesitant to say anything about this because it's one of those things that's easily man-made. But it was like this little teepee looking structure that was just kind of off to itself, in the middle of nowhere, kind of close to a trail, but not really. So I mean, you couldn't really see it unless you just happened to walk up on it like we did. So it a few odd things here and there that just, okay, that's weird. That's kind of interesting.
Well, the funny
thing, trail enough for that you would say, okay, maybe it wasn't man-made, or I mean, you know what I mean? You said it was in the middle of nowhere,
I mean, altogether, I would say it was maybe 6 feet. I mean, it wasn't, the big ones like you see on.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see where the sticks have been kind of threaded and woven together. And I do have pictures of that, and I can send them to you. I just got to find which I see.
Yeah, see, I find a lot more of that kind of stuff here as well. I don't, here at least in my experience here in New York State, I'm not finding a lot of these like huge, like the teepee type things. I found a couple, and again, like you say, could have been person. I don't know why a person would have done it where it was at, but it was definitely one of those things where you go, well, this isn't just 3 trees that fell together and leaning on each other. This was actually brought here and built.
Yeah, sure.
But you don't see a lot of that. Like I know where you're talking about. You're talking about like out there in the Pacific Northwest in that place with the big, huge structures.
The redwoods, yeah.
You don't find a lot of them here in New York, but I do find a lot of the blinds.
Excuse me.
Like where they've taken, and that's the thing. A lot of people, we always want to go, well, I don't want to say it was Bigfoot, but you know what? When you start seeing patterns, man, you got to put it all together and finally say, no, I'm pretty sure it is.
Right.
Because, Aboriginal people used to do the same types of things with foliage. But I'm finding, like these blinds where they'll take trees, live trees, they don't kill them, and they'll weave them together into an area where they could hide, like, behind it. Like either for observation or for an ambush spot or something like that, Me and Gary Hootenholler actually were doing a private investigation one day on this lady's property. and she had one on her property. It was an obvious blind, and we found footprints associated with it. So I can definitely say without a doubt that they do things like that. And with the tree branches, like you said, that one was a little tiny thing. But see, those are the things you got to look for, is those little things that you don't notice.
Okay, and now I will say
right
this.
away.
We did measure both of them, the height of the break, and the height was similar. I don't remember the exact measurement, but it was very similar to what we the other one.
Yeah, they definitely. A lot of people say, "Well, you can't say that. You can't." Say, but once something starts forming a pattern, yeah, you can say it. You know what I'm saying? You can say it. So, do I say that the foliage manipulation is something that Sasquatch do? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of those bigger structures, I'm on the fence about those. Some of them could be. Some of them could just be people, bushcrafters maybe. I found a big dome shape one time in the place that I go to out is, as a matter of fact, where I saw. Oh, and by the way, I do call the Sasquatch I ran into, I named him Rasta, because I tried to draw a picture of him, and he ended up looking like he had dreadlocks by the time I was done, and kind of looked like Rick James. But I called him Rasta, and this dome was in the same area, and I was checking it out and looking at it because I'm like, okay, is this him? Did he make this, or somebody maybe out there? I don't know if there's any others out there with him. I'm assuming that maybe there's a clan there, but I haven't found enough evidence for me to say that yet. He could be just a rogue male, maybe. At the time, I'm not even sure if he's still there, as a matter of fact. But I started inspecting it, and I thought, well, maybe it's just somebody bushcrafting, But then I was checking out the way it was constructed, whether it looked like the branches were cut. A couple of the trees were actually, it was made with about 3 trees that were live, that were still rooted in the ground and put together at the top. And then there was other branches that were brought in and added to it to make a dome. And I was checking them out.
Give me 2 minutes. Keep going. There's something I have to address. My dog's got into something, so just keep going. It'll take 2 seconds.
So I'm checking those out, and I'm thinking, okay, are these other branches, are they cut or are they broken? That's one thing, It's a bushcrafter, chances are they're cut. Came down to it, even though I know that he was out there, at least once when I saw him, I still couldn't say, well, okay, he definitely did this. I think it was actually a person that made it, but at the time I was so excited. I'm like taking pictures. Oh my God, it's a dome. It's a dome, I want to go back and look at it, because I think one of the things it would tell me is where it comes together at the top. Is it actually tied with something? If a bushcrafter did it, it might have cordage holding it all together. Or is it woven like some of the things I've seen, like those blinds where it's actually just woven together? But some of the big structures, yeah, it could be one or the other. I can't say that definitely. But the other things with the manipulation of foliage, twists and breaks, pointing in certain directions, yeah, that's something they do, man. Definitely. They're marking trails. They're communicating with each other that way,
Well, I have a friend in Utah who told me, people, you get the the Boy Scouts that would go out to these areas, bushcraft, and they would build these little structures and leave them there. And, other people would come along and start like freaking out about them and not realizing that the Boy Scouts just did it last weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, my dog just made a mess. So I got to deal with that when I'm done with this.
But mostly, I mean, with those types of things, you really have to really examine them. Chances are, like I said, if you see where it's been cut, branches are actually cut as if somebody chopped them. To bushcrafters are always using their knives and etc., axes. Yeah, you find that probably a person did it. You find it where they're broken branches, broken trees are used. Yeah, now you're leaning a little more towards probably a Squatch did it, but I've only found a couple of the teepee type here.
Yeah, I haven't run across any structures. Once in Arizona in town, but it was like a blind type thing, and I just have a feeling it was made by a human. It was in a heavily traveled area, although there are deer in the area, but it just, that was the feeling I got.
Right.
It was, human made. And supposedly down in Florida here, you don't see a lot of structures. So that's just what I heard. We'll find out.
Right.
But yeah, we are at the 2-hour mark, guys. And
cool.
Like I said, I got this to deal with this mess my dogs just got into. I want to thank you guys so much for coming on, Joe. I'm sorry I didn't recognize you without the beard.
That's okay, man. Yeah, and when you see me on here any other time, man, you don't have to say the whole thing. Just say whiny bro.
Whiny bro.
Cool.
Yeah.
Whiny bro. I'm cool with whiny bro.
I remember we talked about that not too long ago, the whiny bro thing.
Yeah, I know it's a really long name, dude. So yeah. You can shorten it to whiny bro.
Right on. I appreciate it. Because I was like, what? Oh man, that's too damn long. So Last of the Wilds, I want to thank you for coming on, man.
You're for having me, man. I had a great time.
Yeah, you're welcome on anytime, both of you. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to do it again soon.
Absolutely. And hey, man, like I said, man, get out there. I got a whole, there's everybody that watches all different stuff. I got to get you guys on one of mine sometime, man.
Absolutely.
Come on, Squatch Talk sometime, or
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Pleasure. Absolutely. All right, guys. If you guys want to say goodnight to chat, now's the time. I'm going to put you guys backstage.
Cool. Good night, everybody. Joe, it was great.
Hey, nice meeting you, last. Cool,
Mo,
dude.
Finally meet you.
Yeah, see you again, man. See you again.
Thank you. I'll be back there in a minute if you want to hang out.
All right. See you guys.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Big thank you to Last of the Wilds as well as Joe. That was good. I had a good time. I got to go deal with this mess that my dog's just made. My roommate is not going to be happy. She made this awesome pasta salad, left it on I covered it, left it on the top of the stove. I just let my dog out there and she got into it. Shit's going to hit the fan. It was so good too. Damn it. Anyway. Thank you, everybody that's in chat. There's still 53 people here at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know, maybe we'll do something about these late shows. But Thursdays are getting really crowded out there. But we'll see. Hilton, what are you fucking complaining about, dude? The show is dog shit? Anyway, I know he's fucking around. We just talked earlier. Thank you guys for showing up, and I will see you Tuesday. I'm sure I'll see you before then. Say this every week. this weekend, tomorrow night. I'll see you guys in chat. Until Tuesday, you guys have an amazing weekend. And again, thank you so much. And